What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some very, very interesting news as undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. He is touted to be a future legend within the sport of boxing and sports overall, with the likes of Lionel Messi, Steph Curry, and Floyd Mayweather. Yep, you got it. They have Errol Spence Jr., 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, stands at 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. The last time we saw him in the ring was December of last year when he took on defeated former 2-division world champion superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, coming off a 14-month layoff after suffering a horrific car accident just 12 days after unifying the belts against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter September 28th. With that said, Errol Spence's signature is on par of that of Floyd Mayweather in the sport of boxing, who is a legend, a Hall of Fame already, retired 50-0, the man known as Money, who has the highest pay-per-views in the history of the sport of boxing. He broke every record possible in the sport of boxing. He's also on par with Lionel Messi, who is a legend, an icon, and a future surefire Hall of Famer in the sport of soccer. And that of Steph Curry, who is a multi-time world champion, a future Hall of Famer who changed the game of basketball with the three-point shot. This is who Errol Spence is in the company of when it comes to his future predicted star power and status in his sport. Errol Spence was supposed to take on iconic, legendary 8-division world champion Filipino superstar boxer Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao in this fight this past weekend. But Errol Spence, he suffered a detached retina, an injury to his left eye, which saw him have to be removed from the fight, and that saw Cuban star WBA welterweight world champion Yordenis Ugas have to replace Errol Spence, and we know the rest is history. Yordenis Ugas, he beat Manny Pacquiao via unanimous decision. Manny Pacquiao is an icon, a surefire Hall of Famer, a legend in the sport of boxing. This was a passing of the torch moment for Errol Spence, and it's clear that Errol Spence was expected to win this fight, and he was expected to carry the torch. As Manny Pacquiao, 62 wins, 7 losses, now 8 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 3 times, 42 years of age, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm. So he was expected to face off against a legend, an icon in Manny Pacquiao, and win that fight in the passing of a torch situation. But the eye injury saw him have to be removed from the fight. Errol Spence, his last fight with Danny Garcia, he did the highest pay-per-views and the highest sales of anybody, including that of 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who's the unified super middleweight world champion. Will be going into an undisputed showdown this November 6th against undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion superstar boxer Caleb Sweethand Plant. That's scheduled to take place November 6th. He also did bigger numbers than 3-division world champion superstar boxer who simultaneously holds the WBA super belt at 130. He's the WBA regular champion at 135 and 140, undefeated Gervonta Tank Davis. Errol Spence, he did the biggest pay-per-view sales, and he did the highest gate of anybody in the sport of boxing. And this is on par with that status. Errol Spence also has the biggest fight currently in the sport of boxing right now on deck between himself and undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence "Bud" Crawford. 37 wins, no losses, no draws, 27 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So That's pegged as the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And Errol Spence was on par to have that big fight with Terrence Crawford and have beaten Manny Pacquiao. And if all things worked out, the World Boxing Association title, better known as WBA, was expected to reinstate Manny Pacquiao after Manny Pacquiao, he defeated former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith One-Time Thurman July of 2019. And Manny Pacquiao, due to inactivity 2 years ago, is the last time he fought, the WBA placed him as champion in recess. Yordenis Ugas was the WBA regular champion. They elevated him to the super champion. Most people expected Manny Pacquiao to be reinstated as the WBA super champion, but that never took place. But instead, things fell, the chips fell the way they fell. You know, the dominoes fell in place where Ugas got the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao himself and prove that he belonged as the world champion, and he beat him pretty handily, okay? So, with that said, Manny Pacquiao, you know, is a legend, is an icon, okay? He's one half of the biggest fight in the history of the sport of boxing between himself and Floyd Mayweather. They broke every record possible together, and that's who Errol Spence was supposed to face off in the passing of the torch moment. But unfortunately, he didn't get the opportunity. So, for the sports world, with every athlete rated, they have Errol Spence, who is very early in his career. Still, he has a lot to accomplish. They have him in the same light, in the same breath as Floyd Mayweather, as Lionel Messi, as Steph Curry, Conor McGregor in the UFC, and other athletes. Errol Spence is on that list. So he's top 10 of slated athletes to make a change in their sport and be legends, and he's only 31 years of age. He hasn't become a multi-division world champion. So the biggest fight in boxing between himself and Terrence Crawford was held up because Terrence Crawford wasn't happy with Errol Spence saying the 60-40 split because I'm a bigger brand, I'm doing bigger numbers, the numbers don't lie. And Terrence Crawford, he wasn't happy with that. Terrence Crawford is slated as the #1 best fighter in the world, and he said it had to be a 50-50 split or 60-40 in his favor, or there's no fight. And Terrence Crawford, he said that he kind of got, you know, discouraged from the whole talk, negotiations, and he walked away and said that fight was in the rearview mirror. Most recently, after Manny Pacquiao lost, Terrence Crawford, he stated that he and Errol Spence is going to end up needing each other now because Terrence Crawford had been trying to secure a fight with Manny Pacquiao for the better part of 5 years and was unable to do so, largely in due part to his legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum at ESPN, not wanting to give Terrence Crawford the guaranteed purse, he and Manny Pacquiao, to stage the fight. So with that said, he never got the opportunity. Errol Spence was on par to get the opportunity, and the injury prevented him from getting the opportunity. Yordenis Ugas won pretty handily, and Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence are viewed as much better athletes and better boxers than Yordenis Ugas. So one only wonders, and it could have possibly been a bad stoppage if that was Errol Spence in the ring instead of Yordenis Ugas. With that said, for Errol Spence star status to be viewed in the same light as a legend, these guys are already Hall of Famers. Okay, these guys are already well established. Their legacy is already intact if they're not already retired. Lionel Messi, his resume and legacy is already intact in soccer. Steph Curry's legacy in basketball and the NBA National Basketball Association is already intact. And Floyd Mayweather, need I say anymore? We already know what Floyd Mayweather legend is. Conor McGregor's already a legacy is already intact in the UFC. He's already a legend in the UFC. And the list goes on. This is the light and the company that Errol Spence is keeping, and he's pegged to be the next great in sports, the next icon within sports, top 10, and he's in his signature is viewed in the same light as their signature and their worth. So his worth in the future, by the time he's retired, is pegged to be, expected to be, and meet the same expectations that of these legends that are already they're already cemented. Their legacy is already intact, and they're already cemented. They're just adding to it. Floyd Mayweather is already a Hall of Famer, already in the Hall of Fame. Lionel Messi is already, he's one shoe in. and so is Steph Curry. They're just waiting for the day that they say they're no longer going to participate in their respective sports. So this is huge news, and not a lot of people are going to be happy, especially that of Terrence Crawford, because once Errol Spence understands this and gets this news, which I'm sure he's privy to, if he's not, he will be privy to it, his star power is huge. He's viewed as, according to this, as the biggest star in boxing, or his expectation, okay, his ceiling. He's expected to be a legend in his sport by the time it's all over, and his signature is being framed in the same light as these guys. That speaks volumes. So let's see how this all unfolds moving forward. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.